Oh man, I thought they'd scored. I thought it'd get in. I thought that had gone in. I don't know, did it come off the advertising hoardings that are actually at the front of the stand? I don't know what it hit. Did it hit end? Did I even see it hitting end? Because my recollections, my mind's eye is unreliable as my actual eyes right now, all over the place. I just had to say it out loud. I had to say, and they're like, no, Alec, don't say this. They're lining up the free kick. I just had to say it out loud, and like, Alec, don't. But I had to. 'Cause I said, look, I said the thing about us only scoring one goal a game against them so far this season. We've only got one goal against them every time we played them this season, and we got 2 goals, didn't we? So that cancelled that out, So you're going to have to let me. All right, fire ahead. I tweeted last night that I thought they were going to score in the last minute of this game. Alec, what are you fucking? I tweeted last night that I just had a feeling that they were going to score with the last kick of the ball in this game. I don't know if them scoring the last kick of the ball in the first half is cancelled that out. That's taken the place of that or whatever. But my only question I was asking myself last night was if it was going to be a winner for them, not total disaster for us, or an equaliser for them, total disaster for us, or, and this is kind of almost my hope, we'd be 3-0 up at the time, they'd score with the last kick of the ball to make sure that we couldn't go top of the league on the slightest of goal difference. And their fans are like, all they've had over us for the last 3 decades is just slight annoyances, so they would like nothing more than, they're stuck in the ground, they've been held in there by the police, we're all trying to leave and they're singing top of the league and you effed it up and be like, oh well, we gobbed you, what I used to be. It's just the way it goes, and I said it out loud, and I thought it was in. I thought it had gone in, but it was. I don't know what it's hit off. I don't know if I haven't saw it hitting off something. I just imagined it, but my head kind of went down when I thought that's no in. It's where the fans behind the goal cheering, other fans behind the goal cheering that made, let me know, no, it wasn't. And my head went down as close to my head can go to go in between my legs, the fat size of me these days. I'm looking at the back of a blue bucket seat, and then I hear this other massive roar, and that's the Rangers supporters. A part of me's thinking they have scored, and that's their, but no, it can't be. That's too loud and too close. Or it's everybody running about me, and that was it. We'd won. It was a final whistle. It came as quickly as they missed with the free kick right at the end there. And for some reason, even though I was talking about it being the last kick of the game, I was just in this mode, this mindset that it was going to be another 10 minutes. It was just, you just kind of dug in and just thought this is just going to be a kind of hellish marathon of injury time. And that was it. It was over. And at no point had I actually enjoyed the game until that point. It was. This is it's our Gersnet immediate post-match reaction pod coming to you in association with Forest Precision Engineering and our good friends at Football Prizes. My name's Alec Anderson, and I am just currently hoping somebody will give me a wee bottle of Yoo-hoo glue, some sort of adhesive, and help me find the last few shards of my bottle that crashed somewhere in my nether regions to my feet at about half time tonight. I think after I watched the 1972 European Cup winners beating the 1983 European Cup winners by 2-1 here at Ibrox, the venue of the very first ever European Cup Winners' Cup final, the first leg of that first Cup Winners' Cup final. Rangers beating Aberdeen by 2-1. We have gone joint top on points, but we're still behind Celtic, and I'm absolutely raging that we are going to have to wait until Hibs go 2-0 up in the morning night before we go top of the league. And I'm absolutely delighted that at the fourth time of asking, Rangers have finally managed to score more than one goal against Aberdeen. Come on, this is the two teams that are playing tonight. 59 times have been champions of Scotland between them, 4 European Cup Winners' Cup finals between them, the only Scottish teams to reach that European final, the only 2 Scottish sides to play in the Super Cup. I mean, we invented the thing, of course. We were playing against the Ajax side with Johan Cruyff, the guy that invented Pep Guardiola. And that's a good HSV, the Hamburg side that Aberdeen played in '83, a good team. Felix Magath, he scored the win on the European Cup final in '83 and the win on the Cup Winners' Cup final in 1977. But there's no way, we knew it was a ceremonial. There's no way, even if we'd beat Ajax back in 72, 73, that we would have put put it as a star on our kit. It's like the charity shield of continental football. But I'm getting bitter on 2 massive clubs. Let's say, Aberdeen, Hibs and Hearts, they're all a kind of joint third on Scottish titles after the Old Firm. They've won 4 each. 4 apiece. I'd say Hearts have got the third biggest support in Scotland. Hibs probably the second, certainly on their day. The second biggest support, the fourth biggest support in Scotland, second biggest outside the Old Firm. Aberdeen, they can match Hibs when they're on a bit of a run or whatever like that in terms of support, but it's a European thing. I think the European thing pushes Aberdeen ahead of the 2 Edinburgh clubs. So let's call them the third force in Scotland, and I kind of have to, because I'm still trying to. It's kind of residual frustration and anger tonight. No, the fact we're not top of the league, I couldn't give it. I've never been so glad to chuck the chance to go top of the league as I was tonight, because that was the last thing on our minds the way that game panned out. It was just get the 3 points in the bag. It's just the fact Aberdeen we keep letting them give us problems. I want them to be a big club. I want them to be doing well. I know they've got a good squad just now, and that's why they had to sack Barry Robson, because he was underachieving with them. But Neil Warnock, the Aberdeen players should have been dying off when they're hearing his part on press conferences. He's talking about not being a dinosaur and sounding just like an absolute Diplodocus, Tyrannosaurus, whatever. He sounded like a dinosaur, the way he's going on about football and all that. He's not a great manager. It should be the last thing that Aberdeen need until the end of this season, but they're probably so busy concentrating on how Graham Shinnie was going to referee the game that night. They didn't let that get to them. Aberdeen, let's say they played really well. They didn't. They've got 2 tricks. They've got 2 things that they do. They hit the deck and they hit Majowski with the ball, and they managed to. Doing that tonight, they managed to have us 1 each at half time and on the ropes as we went towards full time. But the main thing is the progress under Philip Clement. As I'm saying, we've scored only 1 goal in each of our 3 previous meetings with Aberdeen this season. That was Ibrox, Pittodrie, Hampden, loss, a draw, and a win for us eventually. I think that's 5 goals each now this season between Rangers and Aberdeen. So Philip Clement is taking his own. Michael Beale obviously lost that game 3-1, the game that eventually got him sacked back in late September. And since then we drew at Pittodrie, which was a kind of bad result for Philip Clement, but we did play well for most of that game, and then we've beat them in the League Cup final, which was absolutely colossal, not conceding a goal to Aberdeen for the only time this season. And then tonight we beat them 2-1 at a time where the focus was just about getting the 3 points. Do you see our manager yesterday? His pre-match presser, the very first thing that was announced was, or the very first thing that was kind of put to him, I think it might have been by Sky, maybe Mark Benstead, I'm not sure, it was if it was manager of the month. He'd just been announced as manager of the month for January. He's like phobic. He couldn't even make eye contact with the guy. The first time I've ever seen this, he started finding something on the desk that he's sitting at, Philip Clement, to wipe away. He got his Castor tracksuit, the kind of silvery grey tracksuit with the kind of orange stains, and he just tried to kind of wipe something away, distracted, like a teacher saying to a boy up the back of the class, you know, have you got something to say to the rest of the class? And he's just trying to ignore, no miss, I'm not trying to, cannot take any kind of praise because it's going to be distracted. Certainly, the last person on earth he wants this to be about is himself. He knows that's bad for the club. And, you know, all managers, it's a standard thing. Michael Beale would have been saying, manager of the month, you know, I mean, it's all about my backroom staff and the players get all credit for that. That's a standard line when that kind of thing happens. Just let this big truck go here. If the things had gone another way, I would have been throwing myself under it right now. But you know that Michael Beale would secretly be thinking, you know, not very secretly, be praise me, tell me. Clement genuinely balks at any kind of praise being directed towards him. It's all about maintaining momentum, it's all about maintaining focus, and he's done that tonight, because that was a hell of a game. I mean, when we look back at the end of the season, if we do win the league, and say that was an epic game, I'm still a bit in the embarrassed side that we're having epics with Aberdeen still. A team we should be blown away, but a team, as I say, that are underachieving this season. So the fact that they can raise their game against us, let's try and take it as a compliment. It's definitely, you know, that's our problem. It's down to us to deal with it, and we seem to be dealing with it tonight. But I feel as if the manager was just kind of swiping away. I'm thinking, what is it? Is that a tomato soup stain? Maybe it's a tomato soup stain. Because Aberdeen are the tomato soup stain for me of Scottish football, or certainly the tomato soup stain in Rangers' life. You've got your big, gorgeous, beautiful, billowing in the wind, silky, pristine blue jersey, and every now and then just that wee red stain that just kind of spoils things. You know, not in a major way, but just enough to annoy you. That is Aberdeen. No, like a kind of red pepper, kind of fancy soup for Sainsbury's or something like that. Not even a Heinz cream of tomato soup, not even like Morrison's own brand soup, but Morrison's Savours tomato soup. That's the kind of Aberdeen I like. It's almost orange, almost like the orange in the Castor kit. I was dreading this game. I really was. I didn't feel good about it at all. And the one thing I'd always set up, another reason I'm raging. Just now, I'm not really raging. It's just the excitement. It's the way it's coming out. It's a very emotional evening. It stops me putting forward my little theory. A little theory I was building up over the last few days, looking back at particularly our win over Livingston there. Do you realise, of course, that was the third time we've beaten Livingston at Ibrox this season. We beat them 3-0 on Saturday there. The previous 2 times we beat them by 4-0, both under Michael Beale, one in the league, one in the League Cup. And in both those games we scored a goal. I think the first goal was in the 10th minute, or maybe the 15th. Certainly no later than the 15th minute of the game. And the third goal didn't arrive. Sorry, the second goal in those games didn't arrive until I think it was the 66th minute, and one of them maybe 75 minutes the other game. And then we kicked in a few more goals late on. The fourth goal in both games coming in the 90s. So you're thinking, well, we've beaten Livingston 4-0 twice under Michael Beale. That's a better result than we got against them on Saturday, particularly in a game where we started looking at the goal difference between ourselves and Celtic. Maybe could have done me a few more goals, but the 3 goals that we scored on Saturday against Livingston all came in the times that we wanted. We forget that those 2 4-0 wins over Livingston, a massive amount of time between the first goal and the second goal, and it had us all worried. It took the edge off those 4-0 wins when we're looking at how Michael Beale was progressing as Rangers manager. It gave us something to kind of worry about, because we knew Livingston were a bad team, and so it's proved this season. On Saturday, we get the goal. When we get the first goal on Saturday, 40 minutes, 47 minutes, 2 minutes into injury time in the first half, we get the second goal, and 58 minutes we get the third one. So Philip Clement's he's scored the 3 goals during the time that Michael Beale couldn't score against Livingston at Ibrox this season. We're kind of meeting the sandwich. Hibs at Easter Road, half an hour in, that young Yilmaz opened the scoring in that game against Hibs at Easter Road. Then Todd Cantwell bangs another one in before half time, 74 minutes or something. We get this thing with Rangers under Michael Beale, under Gio, and sometimes under Steven Gerrard, where we get the first goal, we can't get the second. We seem to not be doing that under Philip Clement. When we got the first goal on Saturday against Livingston, we retook centre, and I noticed all the players, everybody shouting at Silva, who was just celebrating his first goal for Rangers, to get into his proper position. He was to the right-hand side of the centre circle, get over to the left-hand side. The whole team was shouting at him. Todd Cantwell's kind of jokingly pushing him, but get over the other side of the centre circle, be ready to go. We've got a formation that is ready to go. And within 2 seconds of Livingston kicking off again, Silva was through on goal, and he tried to curl it in with the outside of his foot, went a bit flash, but he was through on goal again. And I don't know if that's just about us generally being sharp, and teams have got to have a shape that they adhere to, or if there's an actual tactic of, when you get the first goal, this is what we're going to do to get the second quickly. It's something Rangers, we'd scored the 2 goals 6 minutes and 16 minutes, I think it was. 3 minutes and 16 minutes against Motherwell at Fir Park on Christmas Day, and that was it. That was the end of the scoring. But generally we seem to have been scoring. Like Dundee, I think Dundee scored in the 5th minute against us at Ibrox in the league back in December. And then I think we were 3-1 up by half time. Aye, 3-1 up before half time, down to 10 men. So, and we're 3-0 up against Hearts at Hampden, having 0-0 at half time, and within a 14-minute spell, within the first 20 minutes of the second half, we're 3-0 up, the game's done. Hearts got a goal at the end of that one. It's like goals at the beginning, goals at the end, not really counting. Rangers are dominating mostly the middle period of the game, the kind of meaty part of the game that the competent teams, the real teams, dominate. And then tonight, just I'm working up that theory tonight, we come out and we get a goal after 7 minutes, and we don't get the other one until, was it 72 minutes, I think Todd Cantwell get the other one. I mean, it's still relatively early, but it was just, we're doing everything. What it basically means is we can win games anyway. Any way they need to be won, we can win them. This was absolutely colossal tonight. I feel like Clement had failed to win this one. Doubts would come in. Now we've narrowed it down. If nothing else, it's only Celtic we can't beat. You know what I mean? So he's got Aberdeen. Obviously, he's beaten them in the League Cup final, but he's beaten them in the league as well. Rangers are beating Aberdeen in the league for the first time this season at the 3rd attempt. Sorry folks, I'm all over the place. I'm just coming up with the boring stuff because I really don't know. I'm always keen to say with these things that it's a post-match reaction, but I then go on and try and do a bit of a match report. I describe the goals and what have you. That's not going to happen tonight. It really is just a reaction because, for example, when that second goal went in, I just turned to Davey. I'm like, it was Tom Lawrence that hit that and it spun off the keeper and went in, didn't it? No, it was Lundstrom that hit it, mate, and then the keeper palmed it out and Cantwell put in the rebound. I had no idea what was going on. Stone cold sober, but just my nerves went half time. I was just, same as it was in the League Cup final, almost, when it was going slowly. albeit convincingly enough, against Aberdeen. It's no Aberdeen. It's just the fact that if they can do something against us, anybody could do something against it, and it's that last, kind of that last quart, that last joule of belief that I need. Never mind the players. I just need to see he's able to do it against everybody. Right, we lost to Celtic at Parkhead under Clermont. That's fine. Not fine. It wasn't enjoyable in any way, shape, or form. But the way things panned out on the day, we get it, and the fact that the team's getting better and better. We didn't exactly get hammered in that game, so that's fine. We can take that, and that'll be the last hurdle to get over. But if we can't beat Aberdeen, if we're going to slip up against other teams, then that's going to be that's going to be a problem. The doubts start again, and when we've got Europe coming back in March, the need to win as many domestic games as possible before we get back into Europe and start playing across 3 competitions is absolutely paramount. Rangers, in terms of attitude, in terms of application, in terms of concentration, were absolutely fantastic tonight. It's just me that couldn't take it. I just went at half-time when they'd equalised. It's Majowski. So they've got two tricks. Aberdeen, it's to hit the deck and hit Majowski, and both of them were working when we went in at half-time tonight, and that frustrates the hell out of me when the amount of tricks, the size of our box of tricks, the things that we have at our disposal, particularly when we'd broken down so competently, a stodgy part of the bus type defence on Saturday. I know Aberdeen are better than Livingston, but it was just kind of one of those little feelings of, oh no, back to square one, but are we going to go backwards? And that would have been totally unfair. Even if we hadn't got all 3 points tonight, it'd be totally unfair. I wouldn't be criticising the manager. I'd be sticking up for him. But now that we have won the game, I can tell you just how shit scared I was during that game. Shit scared. Because it really, we need to push on, and it's been great fun. It's been so good in the new year. It's been so good in 2024 so far for Rangers, and for most of 2023 under Philip Clement as well. I just didn't want to see that letting up, and I'm really looking forward to us playing Ayr on Saturday as a bit of a warm down, let's be honest. As much as I want the Scottish Cup, as much as it would be a total disaster, obviously, if we lost to the Honest Men on Saturday. That's us, Max. The first goal we've conceded in the league since coming back from the winter break. That's just 4 games. We've conceded our first goal with 3 clean sheets in the trot there. That came to an end tonight, but I just feel as if it was great to get the 3 points on the board and keep things going in the right direction generally. So let's try and do the kind of match reporty stuff. I'll tell you what I can remember. Changes to the team. We'd Ridvan back in at left back in place of Borna Barisic. It's John Souttar starting in place of the injured Leon Balogun. All the best to Leon. I hope he recovers from that facial injury as quickly as possible. A nasty one. We had, the big one was Dessers up front. I think Dessers up front starting again instead of Silva, who started on Saturday, and Tom Lawrence was in sitting beside John Lundstrom in the 2 in midfield. I think there's a bit of talk before the game if it was actually going to be a sitting 2 because it was Tom Lawrence, but remember he came on, it was Tynecastle. We started Tom Lawrence as part of the sitting 2 with John Lundstrom. He got injured early on, and Cifuentes had to come on, and Cifuentes played quite well in that game at Tynecastle, but no, Tom Lawrence came in there as part of the sitting 2, and the first 10 minutes or so of the game, we would just look like we're going to blow Aberdeen away. Absolutely fantastic. Lawrence and Lundstrom, the 2 conductors, just sitting there pinging it along to anybody who wanted it. Lovely bit of application, and that deliberate thing from Ross McCausland, where he just sweeps in from the right hand side and powers in on goal, drives in, and just has a kind of, looks like quite a tame shot, but it's good enough that their goalkeeper has to parry it, and Matondo's in there and smacks it in the back of the net. What was that, 7-8 minutes into the game? Joint goes absolutely mental, and I'm thinking, yeah, we're not going to bother with the patient thing tonight. We're going to actually blow them away. And even I think the thing with the changes to the first team, all the players that come in tonight, the differences from the starting 11 and Saturday, they played such a big part. They weren't coming on with 2 minutes to go as subs in the game on Saturday. They were coming on with like half an hour, I think, at least. All of them, John Souttar coming on for Balogun in the first half against Livingston. It doesn't feel like massive changes. It feels like we've got a squad that's rotating regularly, and in a way, they're rotating round the kind of main axis of, Butland, Goldson, Tavernier and Lundstrom. But, they're rotating in a way that none of them are unfamiliar, are untested with first team football, or I've been out for ages, so it's you've got total confidence. It feels like a kind of familiar team, and it seemed as if everyone was going absolutely swimmingly, and then slowly Aberdeen started hitting the deck, and the referee was giving them the time. Lots of drop balls in the game. The referee was getting in the way of play as well. I think it was 2 drop balls, but both of them, the ball coming off the referee every time Aberdeen hit the deck. And it's a terrible tactic, it's a cowardly tactic, because, sheep in wolf's clothing, boy who cried wolf. It's that thing. Eventually you will have a serious injury, and the referee, never mind the opposition, are going to play on when somebody actually does need treatment, because they'll just no trust you. But they slowed the game down, and then they got the ball over the top. I don't know what happened. I think the Goldson tried to clear it, and then it comes back quickly. Maybe it's a bad defensive clearance, but anyway, the main thing is, what I do remember is it went in behind Connor Goldson, and so did Majowski, and he was wrestling Goldson, and he got a goal side of him, and it's a goal. That's, if we had bought Majowski during the transfer window, well, he wouldn't have scored against Celtic on Saturday. We wouldn't have been in the position we're currently in, but one of the good reasons for buying him wasn't so much what it could do for Rangers, is the fact they could do anything against us. But it wasn't exactly the same goal we lost up at Pittodrie to the same player, but it was very, very similar. Once he's in behind you, it's a goal. Did he lob it over the top of Butland? I don't even remember how he finished it. It's just like, as soon as he got in there, you knew it was going to be a goal, and sure enough it was. A very good striker, and we let him go. We let him go in the transfer window. We'd be interested in him, but we certainly let him go tonight, and that was 1 each. And it had been heading towards that. Aberdeen were kind of clawing their way into the game, and we'd become slow, we'd become ponderous. The pace had come out of it, and I was starting to worry. This whole theory that I'd built up, that we just play our way into the game. And the manager, I'm going to talk about this. Sorry if this is boring, but the manager, as I say, it was absolutely phobic about any praise for the team the other day. Absolutely phobic about talking. Were you boosted by the Celtic result? Is it good to know that you can go top of the league in your own right and choose? No, not interested. I'm only interested in the game. I'm only interested in us winning the game in hand. The game at hand, the game in front of us. That's the only thing he's focusing on. You can see he actually balks. He doesn't want to know about I think I've only heard him mention the name Celtic twice in his whole time as manager, and it's not a disrespect. It's not a kind of we're no half of anything kind of pettiness. It's just, I'm going to focus on my team, on my players, and it's working. It's absolutely working. So I had this whole theory I was spouting post-match on Saturday, that I wanted the Rangers players to have seen that Celtic dropped points just before they were due to kick off here at Ibrox, and go out at Ibrox and blow Livingston away in the first 10 minutes, because I was so psyched. But of course, Philip Clement's attitude is, well, what happens when Celtic win before we kick off? That means we're going to go in a downer and play poorly. If you start adopting that kind of attitude, you have got to concentrate on your own thing. And I think we have to fight really hard to do this over the last couple of days, since the results at the weekend, where everybody's been saying you get a chance to go top of the league. If you win by 3 goals, you get a chance to go top of the league. That's too much a distraction. The last time Aberdeen were a major force in Scotland, they came here knowing a draw would be enough to win in the league in the last day of the season, but we knew we had to win. Sometimes it's, targets that are set up can be as confusing. Thinking, we only need a draw, whatever. Tonight we're going the other way. If we get 3 goals, it's still all taking your mind off winning the game that's in front of you. And I don't know if that's maybe affected Rangers in the way we've played tonight, but we've come out and we have blown Aberdeen away in the first 10 minutes, but then slowly kind of let them back into it. And they get the equaliser, so we come into the second half, and again we start off poorly. I think we clear the ball off our own line, kind of head the ball almost off our own line in the first couple of minutes of the second half. Aberdeen right up for it. I don't know how Shinnie can be allowed to be, nose to nose with the referee through the whole game and never get booked. That is something that genuinely puzzles me on a night of controversial decisions or big decisions, whatever. But so we're huffing and puffing, but not really getting anywhere. A few shots on goal. Goalie's parrying them, they're getting blocked on the line. I had no really faith that we're going to go in. Desser's good bits of link-up play, but I didn't really see a lot from him tonight. He wasn't having... Everybody started slowing down, as I say, from about 10 minutes onwards, and then we change it. We bring on Silva for Dessers, and I think that's when things really started to change. Todd Cantwell had been putting himself about all over the park all night. We brought on Cortez as well, the new signing, the Colombian. He came on, and we definitely started to change things up a bit. We got a bit more intense, and then I just sorry folks, I just watched this game through my fingers. I was just so stressed out at the thought of not winning. It was really weird. I really went a proper downer, proper fear. I mean, I don't ever slag the team out loud. I'll have huff and puff to myself. Which does my neighbours nuts in. I'm such a miserable get at times, but I cancel that out by I don't put negativity out there. I don't slag the players or anything like that. But I wasn't getting behind them tonight. I mean, at one point, I think after we scored the goal to put us 2-1 up, it was we got the battle fever on. Just like I'm laughing, the folk around about me are laughing at me because there was no way I had any battle fever on the night. No, the cry was no surrender. I surrendered the minute Aberdeen equalised. It's football. I'm absolutely helpless. You're playing football, it's fine. You can do something about it, but you're watching it. Sometimes you just feel utterly helpless. And I just wanted it so bad tonight that it was getting to me. I don't know what happened with the goal. As I say, I thought it was like Tom Lawrence had a shot. I don't even know if Tom Lawrence was still in the park at that point. It was just, I've heard it was Lundstrom had a fantastic shot. The goalkeeper again couldn't hold it, and then goes Todd Cantwell to slap it in, and I didn't even know it was Todd Cantwell that scored. Folk were, you're getting grabbed by folk, or everybody's going absolutely mental. The way I was going mental when we scored the first goal, when I thought we were going to win 4 or 5-0. At this point, I'm kind of like, just going to tap him foot in the butt. I just couldn't even. It was like, I don't know, it was like finding out you'd been cured of some disease that you thought you were going to have till it killed you. It was just, I've scored, right in front of me. And so eventually I was kind of getting into it, right, we're winning this game, but there seemed to be so long to go. I was just worried that, as I say, Aberdeen were going to come back again and just properly sicken us all night long. Didn't happen. There seemed to be an Aberdeen player went in on, I think it was Connor Goldson, is kind of up towards the other end of the park from where I'm sitting. A lot of folk claiming it should have been a red card. The referee instantly gives the guy a yellow as if to kind of placate things. So I need to see that one, but you'll know for a fact what it was. You'll have seen it on Sky. I'm just seeing it through the fear going through my system tonight. And then we have Dujon Sterling, who was doing quite well when he came on for Lawrence, I think, maybe 75 minutes, I think, just after the goal, to try and shore things up. Doing quite well, Dujon Sterling, and this was right in front of me. He goes in, he does slide in. I think he does go to ground with the tackle on the fellow. There was a few physical challenges going about, and it was funny how as soon as Aberdeen went behind, the players weren't hitting the deck anymore. Those defenders that were finding it really, it was a total blow to their physicality when a ball kind of hit off them. Right backs that just hit the deck and had to lie there for 10 minutes after taking a ball to the chest, which I thought was fairly standard stuff throughout your life if you're a footballer, especially a defender. But no, they were out the game. But as soon as we went 2-1 up, Aberdeen players were just impervious to pain, piling forward. This guy, whoever it was, Dujon Sterling, has gone to ground himself. He's come off worse, or certainly made it look as if he's come off worse. I don't know, maybe it was a straight red. The referee got asked to go and look at it again and stuck by his decision. So I'll need to see it to make a judgment, but it looked like it was one of those tackles where I didn't know enough about what was going on. I just can't make a judgment on it, but certainly everyone around me was very much of the opinion that it wasn't a red card and we'd been cheated. But I've never known any of the folk about me ever to think that we deserve a red card. So and that was it. It was like, right, that was at 2 minutes of normal time to go, and we then have that thing where all the injury time that has been built up for Aberdeen's time wasting then stands to benefit Aberdeen. We managed the game really well. Silva in particular, I think he really showed himself at that point where we went down to 10 men, managing the game quite well, trying to administer the result, as the Italians call it, time wasting, what have you. Not time waste, just taking the ball in the corner and holding on to it, and we did quite well. But of course we had to give away the at the death free kick outside our box, but it didn't go in, even though I was convinced it was going to go in, and Rangers have achieved an absolutely colossal result, a massive result. And so the reason we couldn't go top of the league with a 2-goal win tonight was because Celtic have scored more goals than us. We've got the best defensive record in Scotland, only 12 goals conceded now, but Celtic have scored 55 goals. Exactly, that's the reason why they're still top of the league tonight. They've scored 55 goals, and I'm sure at some point tomorrow night they'll score 56, and we're in the kind of mood to go from 55 to 56. And do you know that the price of Morrison's Savers tin of tomato soup, 55 pence, 55p. So I hope that goes up by a penny in the coming days. Listen, folks, I'm all over the joint. Worst ever post-match reaction pod. but Rangers got the business done, and we are moving so much in the right direction with Philip Clement, and we've got Brian and Stuart on Friday night. They'll be able to give you a much better, I know I always say this, but these guys will definitely be able to tell you like something that happened in the game tonight. They'll be able to analyse it properly, and they'll give you a wee preview of that Scottish Cup match against Ayr. And thanks very much for listening to me rabbiting away talking garbage tonight, and I'll see you soon, folks. Thanks. Right, get myself up the road. I don't think there's any wrong with telling the folk all about the Cup Winners' Cup final and that. I mean, the thing is, Kurt Harmon, he died on Sunday, I think it was, and the only guy ever to score in 3 different Cup Winners' Cup finals, and he scored against us for Fiorentina in that first of our 3 Cup Winners' Cup finals we appeared in. Only Barcelona and Anderlecht appeared in more Cup Winners' Cup finals than Rangers. What a record we've got. But Kurt Harmon, he died on Sunday, really sad, and he scored in the second leg for Fiorentina against us when he beat us in that 61 final over in Florence. And folk always say, I never like it when Rangers fans say, oh, we're the first British team to play in a European final, because, well, Birmingham City played in 2 Fairs Cup finals in 60 and 61. 58 and 61, and the London 11 played in the 58 Fairs Cup final. Then Birmingham played in the 1960 and 1961 Fairs Cup finals, and it's like, oh, well, that wasn't recognised by UEFA. Well, the thing is, the Cup Winners' Cup final in 1961 wasn't recognised. The Cup Winners' Cup wasn't recognised by UEFA in 1961. It only got recognised laterally because the Italians bloody won it. And a certain Artemio Franchi became president of FIFA in 1973. He was already a big influence. President of UEFA. He was already a big influence at UEFA. So surprise, surprise. You know who the Fiorentina Stadium is named after? Artemio Franchi. So that's the only reason the Cup Winners' Cup got recognised by UEFA, was because Fiorentina won the bloody thing against us. But of course we got a wee bit of revenge, didn't we? Because it was at the Artemio Franchi in 2008 that we beat them in the UEFA Cup semi-final. I was actually at the last ever Cup Winners' Cup final. It was at Villa Park in Birmingham the week before I got married. What a stag do that was. And same as it was at Luigi Milan scored the 2 goals for Fiorentina against us in the 61 final, and it was an Italian who scored the first goal in the last ever Cup Winners' Cup final as well. A certain Christian Vieri, who was, he played for about 25 different Italian teams, but he was born in Bologna, never played for Bologna, and he of course missed the last penalty Fiorentina took in the penalty shootout against us in that 2008 semi-final. Who missed our first penalty that night? Barry Ferguson, whose nephew currently plays for Bologna, and of course who scored. Fiorentina, when they won the Cup Winners' Cup against us in 61, they then lost the final the following season, starting a pattern. They lost it to Atletico Madrid, who lost the following season's final to Spurs. That started a pattern where nobody ever retained the Cup Winners' Cup. But 11 times the team that won it ended up losing the following season's final. So you had Barry Ferguson, Bologna, what am I talking about here? Lewis Ferguson. So Fiorentina, they lost the final. They drew the final. It was a replay in Stuttgart. They get beat the following season. So they drew at Hampden. The final was played at Hampden in '62, and this Lewis Ferguson has actually won a Hampden semi-final against Rangers for who's tonight's opponents, Aberdeen. I know what you're saying. Christian Vieri, he was born in Bologna, but he moved to Australia at a young age because his parents moved over there. That's something. Well, Lewis Ferguson's dad, of course, moved to Australia, and he played for, when Lewis Ferguson was a young man, and he played for Adelaide Force, who were previously known as Adelaide Juventus, and were Australia's Juventus. And Christian Vieri, he also played for Juventus and Fiorentina. And that's what the hell.